Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Alexis Love Beauties and Flawless Man. Welcome back to another podcast episode. Y'all know I have to fool sometimes just so to lighten up the mood, because when we get down to business, we get down to business, okay? We are going to be reading from our daily bread in 1 Kings chapter 8 verses 56. Blessed be the Lord that has given rest unto his people Israel, according to all that he promised. There have not failed one word of his good promise. Glory be to God. Every day we read about the public failures of actors, athletes, and leaders. We each excel in some areas while failing, sometimes miserably in others. But there's one exception to this rule of failability: God. Centuries before Christ came to earth, God promised it would happen. Today we hold on to the long ago promise of Christ's return. Do we think God has failed, or do we believe, as Paul wrote to the Thessalonians, that God is delaying because he is being patient with us, allowing us the time to turn to him? God always keep his promises. Well, I guess this reading was fooling hard as I was. Let's go back up to the reading, because God is fooling early in the morning. Blessed be the Lord. I remember one time I was on my way to Florida, and I don't know, it just came out of nowhere in my head to say, Lord, bless the Lord. So, and I read that a couple times also. So I was like, well, that sounds crazy. Why would I be telling God to bless himself? God says that a lot in his word. Well, I haven't seen it a lot. I said it a few times though, and just right here in 1 Kings chapter 8 verses 56. Blessed be the Lord. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with blessing the Lord, blessing the angels and praying over the angels that the Lord has ordained to protect you. I don't think there's anything wrong with complimenting God. So blessed be the Lord that has given rest unto his people Israel, according to all that he has promised. Anything that God has promised, he is going to do. He's not going to forget one promise and some. So the Lord promises to give blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings, more than you have enough room to receive. There have not failed one word of all his good promise. God's word will never fail. It just will never fail. Any promises that God made to you. When we talk about the promises that God made to you, when we talk about the American dream, right? Let's talk about the American dream. The American dream. See, we have been so institutionalized by going into school and just the way we were trained to think that the American dream is everybody thinking the same way. That is the matrix. That's the enemy's plan, to have everybody going the same way in life. But we are all different. We all come on, Jesus. We are all made from the same God, but we are in different offices. So we are all going to be doing different things. We shouldn't have the same dream. We shouldn't have the same thoughts. We shouldn't have the same desires in life, because we are different beings, and God created us all different. To me, the American dream has always just meant a white picket fence, a family, maybe 2 or 3 children. Everybody is classy. The wife stays at home and the man works. That could be the dream for some people, but for other people, the Lord has made us different promises. Now, when we start talking about the promises of the Lord, see, I think the American dream is something that the world put on us. The Lord has his own personal promises for us. You'll know the promises that God has over your life when we take the time to remember what he said to us. So some promises God might have told you, if you were going, it's the positive things that's been spoken over your life that comes from God. So if someone has said something like, oh my God, you're going to be a great wife, and you heard that a lot in your life. Oh my God, you're going to be a great father, and you heard that a lot in your life, but you don't have children, or you're not married. You're like, what? That is a promise. God used people to speak to you. So we have different promises that the Lord has made unto you. Maybe you're someone that wasn't able to have children, but it's just something in your heart that's saying, I'm going to have this kid. I'm going to have this kid. That's because the Lord has put that promise in your spirit. You are going to have that child. Just keep the faith. So our promises, the promises that God made to us, he is good on his word. And it's going to come through, man. It's going to come through. It just takes time. And God's timing is so different from our time. And you know what I'm realizing? We thinking that stuff be moving slow. Actually, the spirit realm is moving way faster than we can imagine if we pay attention to that. I'm paying attention, and the spirit realm is taking off fast, and it's like the world is trying to really catch up to the spirit realm. But y'all, let me get back on topic. So the promises of God is whatever that he told you in secret, because the Lord will tell you some things in secret. And then also some of the positive things that's been spoken over your life. Those are the promises. We all have those. If you're not aware of the gifts and the promises and the talents that God has for you, then that just simply means there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. But that just means that you still have to get in communion with God, and then there's going to take a wise person to draw out the information from you. So I know my life coach, Latoya O'Keel Stapleton, was the woman that God sent in my life to help draw out the wisdom from me. And you know, that's how I got started on my path. So you know, I'm not here to teach people how to get on their purpose and different things like that. But I do always shout out my life coach, because that is the vessel that God placed in my life to help pull that information out. And I'm not sure how I might be helping you all as well. I might be helping someone to get on that journey as well. But I know that that's not my calling to just focus on helping someone to find their purpose. So there is going to be a wise man or a woman that the Lord is going to put in your path when you ask him. You have to seek ye first, and then things begin to work itself together. And then the Lord will tell you those promises, show you your gifts and your talents, and he will give you your purpose, but you have to ask him. So there's some promises that God made to you that will not fail, because we've seen the children of Israel be blessed. Going back and down into the reading, they ain't told no lies. The person said, every day we read about public failures of actors, athletes, and leaders. And we have to understand that those are still humans. They're humans. They just have the spotlight on them. So when they make a mistake, when they backslide, when they, say the wrong word, it's all on a recorded line. It's all on a recorded device. And we sit around and we judge those humans. Their religious belief is more on display and different things like that. But instead of us talking about these people, because I ain't gonna lie, I still watch certain things like Love and Hip Hop and, Love and Marriage Huntsville. But instead of talking about these people, I would say to pray for them. Pray for them. Like I'll be talking about Biden. We ain't gonna lie. I'll be popping my stuff talking about that man. But instead of me talking about him, I need to pray for him, no matter what spirit he's operating under. And because just sitting around talking about people doesn't help it any further. Everybody is going to have, they said, a fallibility. I never heard that word in my life. But that's just the rule. God told us that. He told us and he showed us. He told us in his word that it's not going to be easy in this world. Just because of the deception that would happen in the beginning. That deception from the garden has passed down to our lives. So it's not going to be easy for nobody. It doesn't matter how perfect you are. It doesn't matter what your spiritual name is. It doesn't matter how much you pray. We're still going to suffer trial and tribulation. We are all still going to be tempted. But the Lord is always going to make a way out of that. For us, they said centuries before Christ even came to earth, we were already aware that we were going to go through hard times, because that was the curse. That's the curse. That's the generational curse. But there is a way how to get out of these things. You just have to ask. We thinking that God is delaying it. No, this is what they asked. They said, do we think that God has failed? And I'm going to let you sit with that and answer that on your own time. Do you think that God has failed? Or do you believe what Paul wrote in Thessalonians, that God is delaying because he is being patient with us, allowing us time to turn to him? That's what I believe. I'm going to answer the question on my behalf. I think that God is delaying because he wants more souls. And I read that in Revelation. Come on, Jesus. there is angels that the Lord has in different parts of the world. There are some angels, and there's also some trapped souls underneath the altar. It talks about this in Revelation, that these souls are crying out to God every single day that we wake up. There are spirits, there are souls that's already near to God, that I believe that's what it was saying. I encourage you to do your extended research and read the chapter of Revelation. But when I read Revelation, it sounded like those souls were near to God, or maybe they had some wisdom, knowing that they would be with him. But these souls were crying from under the altar, and it said how they were telling God, like, we're tired of staying down here. Like, when is the world going to be over? Because we're ready to come and see you. And the Lord was telling, and then there was some angels that was also saying, like, we finna go down there, we finna mess it up. Literally every single day of our lives, there's angels around the whole world, and some of them angels is ready to throw hands. They tired of this because they know we're struggling. They see us going through different things. And then there is God's angels that say it's not time yet. You know what? Glory be to God. I decree and declare that the Lord will bless us with the word, that we can come back and we can speak about that topic more, because I really believe that the Lord is delaying our time so we can, because ain't no way all these decades, this one spirit and God been beefing all this time, and the devil done had all these generations to say, Lord, I apologize to you. You feel me? Like, I don't even want to, it just don't make no sense. And I ain't finna speak on that man's behalf. I just feel like he need to apologize to God, but it ain't happening. But y'all, I know this podcast is fooling y'all. I know it was fooling, but I pray that the Lord come back and give us a word on that, because that's how I feel. When you get time today, I encourage you to answer that question. You can take that to God as well and let him know how he failed you, or if you feel like he didn't fail you and you're grateful for the life extension that you have to turn to him. So ask yourself the question, do you think that God failed you, or do you think he's just delaying time for you to get closer to him? And when you get time, I encourage you to read 1 Kings chapter 8, verses 56. And also, I encourage you to read the whole book of Revelations. I love you, and God bless you.